So this social contract with, you can refer to Jack Rousseau for that one. When you enter the social contract is when this dichotomy between morality and ethics comes in, because now you have to follow this ethical code for like the civilization, the society. How should I be in relation to another citizen? And then there's a morality, which is more individual in nature. So this distinction happens, and once you realize that there's ethics and there's morality, and then there's also logic somewhere here, you can creatively, navigate via imagination, your own models, and that way you're intelligent. And that's what makes you human, moreover. So it's definitely very, very cohesive. Since you're also in the filmmaking industry, there's a lot of creativity that requires to direct a film, to get the specters of the image right and stuff like that. What have you, because you created this amazing movie, The Tashkent Files, and it was very it seemed like you're a really good historian filmmaker. At least that's what came into my mind when I first saw the movie. You're very good at capturing, the instances and the narrative and everything. What inspired you? Were you directed at filming that particular kind of film? And what inspired you to make this trilogy, right? Because it's Tashkent Files, then Kashmir Files, and now Delhi Files.
I don't know. I never planned it. There are two kinds of films you can make. There are two kinds of stories in this world floating around. One, the stories people want to hear. Okay, now people want to hear Ramayana, so you can tell them 100 times Ramayana, or Jesus Christ. You can tell that story 1 million times. You can tell the story of Hitler billions of times. People want to hear that story. So you keep making films, basically what people want to hear. Okay, and people generally like to be in a comfort zone. They just want to hear the same thing again and again and again and again. Even when people fall in love, a couple, they want to hear I love you billions of times, because people want to be reassured with those stories. That's the utility of those stories.
True.
Then there are stories which people see something in a new perspective and they tell a new story. Right?
Yes.
So when Ayn Rand started talking about individualism, okay, it was a new story, people were not used to it. When Socrates started telling new stories about democracy and why democracy is going to fail, people were not prepared and they said, no, kill this guy. So lots of people tell stories which people have not heard before. Sometimes they get excited, sometimes they get scared, sometimes, so people react to them. So that's why stories, when you will tell from your point of view, people will react to it. They'll get disturbed. Okay, so there came a time in my life I said, I was making big films with big stars. It's easier to make films with big stars, because they sell. Then I said, why am I doing that? There was no advertisement saying wanted directors, I came with my own free will, if I may use the word free will here. It's a very controversial word these days.
True.
Yes. Because of the politics, it's suddenly into this thing.
You don't want to get into it.
Yeah, no. I don't want to get into religious politics. Any other politics I'm open to. So I came out of my own choice. Let me use, that's a better word. So I chose to came here. And I said, why am I wasting time saying the same thing again and again? Okay, hero has to be like this and the heroine has to be like this. So then I quit and I started teaching in Indian School of Business in Hyderabad. And I was teaching a module called I Am Buddha, which I created myself. Okay, I Am Buddha basically takes a lot of Indian philosophy and puts it together for global leadership. I said leadership is not going to be a template based. Then these 100 students who are coming out, all of them have learned the same thing about leadership. So leadership is something you go out in the world and experiment and figure out whether you're a leader or not. And from there this journey started, and I realized that there's so many stories to be told which are Indian, okay, and which have no resolution. They have not been resolved. So Shastri was one story, it's not been resolved.
Yeah.
Kashmir is a story, it's not been resolved. Now Delhi Files is a Punjab issue, it's not been resolved. So I said, why are we scared to make movies without climaxes? Why we are so fascinated with climaxes? That it has to be resolved, that somebody is good, somebody is bad, this. So I said, let's take these unresolved stories. They require a lot of research. So we got into researching, and that's how the journey started, And that's what we are doing. Kashmir Files also has no climax. In next film also has no climax,